This conference will now be recorded.
So, all right, cool. We got a full screen. A lot of the regulars. Danny, good to see you. Everybody else, and Danny.
Man,
Uh, we got two Dannys, and Aubrey is in here, and Rhonda. So that's cool. Most of you know the rules. There pretty much aren't any. We don't follow. It's more of a round table kind of discussion, and we let it kind of lead us where it wants to go until it gets derailed, and then we'll try to pull it back in. So if anybody has any questions in the meantime, you can snap that hands up, raise your hand button, and we'll try to watch it. But otherwise, interrupt us if you have a question and enjoy the ride. So anybody got anything new, interesting, noteworthy, or a question right off the bat?
I do.
Awesome. Run with it. You got the talking stick.
All right. So absolutely love our Thunder Laser. I finally got the courage to fire it up November 1st, and it's so easy. Like I'm only playing with quarter-inch Baltic birch, but it's phenomenal. But I have a question. I've been doing projects like this,
Oh, nice.
and so to engrave the border on this takes like this is 24 inches wide. It takes like 45 minutes. And my question is there any way versus the laser going East Coast, West Coast, that you could just have it just follow the border to make it
Yep.
go a lot faster?
Easy ways use offset fill, and it'll do exactly that.
Offset fill. Okay. Okay.
What it does is it
Adjust.
combines vector moves of the shape, offsetting smaller and smaller to create the fill appearance.
Yep.
Okay. Offset fill. Okay.
Yep. Then it's going around and following that pattern instead of swiping across it. So you'll
It
get
would,
a
yeah,
lot of
it'd go way
continuity there.
faster, way faster. Okay. Super.
There's another method if you want to keep kind of the look to look the same, because when you do vector moves, depending on the shape of the engrave, it may speed up and slow down depending on if it's a tight curve or not. So if your power is constant, you get different color or different depths. The other cheat code way is to basically split your graphic in half. So if you just draw a line down the center and make two separate shapes,
Mm,
and then you say fill this shape only, by a layer or whatever, it'll minimize how far it has to go. Now it still has to do extend space left and right, but it's not traversing across the entire map.
yes.
So you
Okay.
can save some of the time, but you'll get a more consistent look.
Okay. And offset fill, that's in the optimization settings.
Now you'll have a
It'll
line and a fill and an offset fill selection for your mode,
Oh, okay. Nice.
and it is a different look. So a
Okay. So
neat
yeah,
play
look, I
with.
think.
Cool.
There's Jim.
and then you can adjust your offset spacing just kind of like your LPI. So how many rounds around America do you want it to do for that width?
So it would go all the way around versus just doing, because it's about a quarter-inch border. So just
Yep.
just that border clockwise or whatever. Is
Right.
that
Yep. It would.
possible?
It,
Yeah.
it's actually following the shape, and then you determine how many
Lines per
vectors
inch.
of that same pattern. Yeah, right. To tighten up that gap in there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Excellent.
And we do have a few moments of awkward silence. So,
I have another question.
all right, go for it.
Right. So my wife brought up, let's say you wanted to do a whole bunch of different ornaments, but I would rather see one ornament get completed before it moves to the next one in the event of a power outage or whatever. How would one do that?
That's going to be your optimization settings and your file setup. You can set it up basically each ornament's its own group, and then you say you do it by the group for the layer setting. You can also in your optimization say I want you to start at the top, go basically top down or to the left over, stuff like that. so that it can finish one by one.
Okay, so group each individual ornament and then layer by group or whatever that setting. I'm not in Lightburn right now. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and so your biggest thing is once you set the file up, use that preview function and just
yes.
watch how it does it. And so you're gonna have to tie in the layer setup and your optimization settings to get that result. Because generally, even if you do fill by layer, you're gonna engrave everything, and then when everything gets done engraving, it'll come back and cut.
Cut.
Now you do have power on recovery that it will attempt to start where it left off. So even if you have a power failure, and then you can also use the Lightburn preview to back up where it stopped and say start from here and finish the job. So very
Okay.
powerful software.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
amazed by it. It really is very, very good software.
Yeah, one of the other things you can do if you want it to help you visually is you can actually set each ornament on a different layer. So, and then you could do a fill in cut on, say, layer 1, and then layer 2 is the next ornament. So you can see I'm going to start with the black, then move to red, then the blue, then the green, and each one, so it give you a visual representation rather than looking in your preview.
Okay. Excellent. Anything? No.
Sorry, I was peeking in a ticket. If you got another one, man, you're on a roll. If you have any other observations, but
There's my
Roll
mic
that
working.
turkey.
Where's that?
good, good.
Right there.
My mic working.
It is.
Yes.
I was just saying that was a voice that I haven't heard in a long time. That was almost scary.
Oh yeah,
Which
it's
one?
been a while.
Which one?
You.
Yours. You haven't been around
Yours.
for a while.
I haven't. I've been around, but God, it's been busy.
There's the awkward silence.
There could be even another blast in the past showing up here in a little bit.
Travis?
Yeah, Travis is coming.
Oh wow,
Oh,
it's
man.
been a minute
It's
since
like
I've seen him too.
Yeah, him
it's
and
a
I was just
reunion.
talking. He just texted me. He says, "You going to the meeting?" I'm like, "Oh crap, it's today." I was the one that actually forgot. He said, "Yeah," and I was like, "You going?" He's like, "I'll be a little late, but I'll be there."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been swamped and dealing with like, see what their annual snowfall 70 inches where he lives at, and in 8 days they had 48 inches of snow. So they've gotten well over half of their snowfall in 8 days, and they've got another storm coming, which is just funny.
Nice. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do have another, I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
so in the optimization settings, there's reduced direction changes. There's a couple of these, but what is reduced direction changes? It's not highlighted in my optimization settings right now.
I think that one is basically trying to minimize motion, so that is cutting from like the same direction, stuff like that. If you do the preview, hopefully it has less of where it is jumping around from object to object, and should hopefully almost read left to right or right to left as it's lasering your objects.
Because I
It'll
have
vary
it,
by file.
sure, and like it usually cuts inside shapes first and then moves, to the outer shapes. So that is selected. What is
Yeah.
cut in direction order?
Is that for the layer setup or
In the optimization
Oh,
settings, it just was a tab that wasn't highlighted that said cut in direction order.
now there is one that you can assign almost like an affinity to each object. I'm not sure if that one ties back to that or not. There's some of those settings
Okay.
that
And
nobody
look,
ever
I think
really
the cut in
uses.
direction order. I think the cut in direction order, though, let me look, is it allows you. So if you, let me see if it's what I'm thinking it is. Yeah, so the cut in direction order, you should have a like from top, from bottom, from left to right. It's going to cut based off of which one of those is selected. So from top, it's going to cut from the top going down and then left to right as you move, versus if you say, from left, then it's going to cut in direction order, prioritizing everything on the left before it moves to the right.
Why would one want to do that? Like, can you think of, give me an example of why you would want to do that?
I don't know that I have ever wanted to do that.
Okay.
It may be something that Oz put in there that not too many people use. I'm sure there's a function for it. It wouldn't be there. I can't think of a practical reason anyway
It,
why I
yeah,
would want
and
to use it.
it may be if you're looking at it doing stuff where like, hey, I'm going to cut something here and then I'm going to add another piece. So say you got a bigger laser and you're batching out smaller things, you cut from the left to the right, and then after you cut the first one, you add the next sheet, and maybe
Okay.
in terms of processing it like that.
Okay.
I looked at doing something kind of like that before, but it was a lot easier just to pause it and then or just rerun the same file and jig it.
Mm-hmm. What is choose corners?
I did post in the group chat. There's the link for Lightburn's documentation on all this stuff.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
see. Yeah. Choose corners if possible. Says the cut planner will attempt to start on a corner, which is sometimes good for the quality. Like when you're cutting through and you get that little initial burn. So it'll
Yes.
basically try to start at a corner versus on a rounded part of your cut line. Like every
Okay.
node is a potential starting point.
And then remove overlapping lines. I can't say I've seen
So,
a design maybe where they've overlapped, but
well, this
like
is
on
for
that.
like if you had an
That's
array
actually
of
really useful.
squares.
Yeah.
Yeah, like say you were doing name tags, you had a
Sure.
bunch of them. Well, every rectangle will share
Yes.
possibly 4 sides with another one. Well, you don't want to cut those out in duplicate. So
Right.
if it can, it'll try to minimize that. Saves you time and lessens the chance of an issue. The other thing we've seen too is like people buy files as somebody prepared and sold on Etsy, and there's
Yes.
duplicate lines, so that helps eliminate those.
Okay.
That never happens, Chris.
And then,
It's normally the lines don't actually close, right?
Connect.
Normally the
Yeah.
shapes aren't actually closed.
there's order by layer and order by priority. The difference is there.
So in your Lightburn in the top right, you've
Yes.
got where you can set the hierarchy of
Engrave,
the layer.
cut.
Yep. So typically top to bottom is what it's going to do if you have ordered it by layer. And then I
Okay.
guess inside of that layer, the next hierarchy would be by order. So typically, your cut layer, you're going to make that go to the bottom of the list because you want to cut it out
Yes.
last and
Yes.
keep your engraves up above.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And then the priority side is if you, regardless of your layers, right, you can go into the shape properties for any shape or a group of shapes, and you can tell it what the priority is and give it a number. So number one will be the first thing it cuts, regardless of anything else, if you cut by priority.
Okay. Excellent. I come from a scroll saw background. So what used to take, 2.5, 3 hours for a big piece, maybe like 3 blades, is now like 3 minutes. And I'm just, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Why I didn't have this sooner in my life, I tell you. But I'm glad I got to learn the hard way,
Well, you think because sooner in your life you were saying that using a laser wasn't real woodworking, right? You were
Yeah,
arguing and fighting the technology, right? But no, if
Yep.
you use it as a tool to help, it's so much better.
Oh, it's so much better. You go into woodcraft and some of those old timers don't believe that CNCs and lasers are woodworking equipment. I'm like, oh, I beg to differ.
Yeah,
Personally,
they won't be around much more.
Personally, I think that everybody should have to start out with a scroll saw, and then they learn to appreciate what they do have.
Oh, no
Or
kidding.
scroll saw, then go to a bandsaw, then go to a laser. Learn the basics.
Roll saw nothing. Start them with the coping saw.
Exactly. I was going to say a
Yeah, I
coping
didn't,
saw and a dovetail saw. And
didn't think about those. Yeah, I got those out there too. That's how or actually, I started out with a jigsaw turned upside down on my lap when I started doing craft shows. I just had a jigsaw turn around upside down on my lap, and I was literally cutting out all the stuff for our craft shows literally in my lap. And that's how I started out.
you had the trigger tie wrapped, right? So it didn't go off. And that way, if it flipped over in your lap, that wasn't a problem either.
I had the little button. I just had the little button pushed on there and just left it on. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And there we go.
Yep. The awkward silence. That's 2. Travis, how have you been, man?
Who's the new guy I'm hearing?
Who's what?
I'm a new guy.
Oh wow, look it, man. Authors here. Jason, man, what's happening?
Getting the
I
band
know,
back
we're
together.
all here today.
I haven't been here in a while, but I came with a question.
Awesome.
Uh-oh.
Well, ask it. You're just in
Okay.
time.
Okay, so I'm working on a couple of things that I would like to add a wood strip about a half an inch wide, and I'd like to engrave like a filigree design on it. I've got the 51, Nova 51, and I would really like to be able to get as much space as I can. So I thought about going from corner to corner. However, I run into a couple of problems. Number one, trying to frame something that way is impossible because with the artwork that's only about an inch and a half wide, when you frame, if the wood is laying diagonally across the bed, it still frames the entire square. So you can't really accurately put it on the wood. And I was curious.
Frame your contours.
I was curious if a camera would allow me to place the design directly on the wood laying diagonally across the bed, and if that would be a solution to the problem.
If it's calibrated correctly, it can be very accurate. It's dependent on having a constant distance from the surface of the material to the lens, just as you have to have one for your laser's focus. So it works in conjunction, or works best in conjunction with autofocus to maintain its accuracy. But that is a possibility for sure.
So that
You
is
can
one way to
also
get over that.
frame. You can also frame with
change
your
frame
contour.
type. Man, I got a lot of feedback. But you can change the frame type through Lightburn and do a live framing straight out of Lightburn and do the rubber band method, which will give you more accurate framing.
Sounds like the machine's rattling apart, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just doing a bunch of short line segment moves.
Yep.
And for something that big, it'll be doing it a while because it's X and Y direction.
So it's called a rubber band method.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
when
it's-
you
So if you
when
look,
you look at your laser controls where you usually send your file to, there'll be a square frame and there'll be a round frame right next to it. And use the round frame one, which is the rubber band mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
and like Brian said, it does. First time you do it, right? You might think you've done something wrong, right? Your entire laser is gonna, especially on the 51, is going to vibrate and move, and you're gonna think something's wrong, but that's perfectly normal.
Okay. The other question is that I know that it's possible to change the angle of the. I'm not sure exactly what it's doing, but I can change the angle of, I guess, how the material
How
is
it
burned by the
scans.
laser head. Right.
Yeah.
Would it be better to try to match the angle with the angle of the material that I'm engraving as well? Would that save
No.
time? Would it make it?
It's
Wow.
this
On a
machine is
gantry.
best. Go ahead. You're fine.
I was going to say on a gantry, there's almost no reason to ever change that angle, right? For a Galvo, it makes more sense, but on a gantry, right, you want your scan angle across your left to right axis, right? When you start trying to scan across your y-axis, right, or scan at an angle, it's going to complicate a lot of things, and it's going to slow down your process.
Yeah.
Okay, because I tried
it's
punching in. I tried punching in the numbers just to see what would happen, and it seemed as if it was telling me that it was reducing the overall time when I changed the angle from just straight across to try to match the piece. But
it may, but if you're going at any angle other than 0 or 180, you're moving X and Y at the same time, so there's more issues there.
okay,
And the machine doesn't like that. That head's real heavy. Also, if you're introducing the Y-axis movement at all, or anything except X movement, there aren't any scanning offsets in the Y direction because that's just not something that you compute because you don't normally engrave at a different angle than back and forth. See what I mean?
okay,
Because that
yes, I
head's
do.
real heavy. There's a lot of inertia. So when you
Hmm.
try to do that sideways, it's kind of rough on the machine too. But it
Right.
has its
I
own
know the
host of.
machine won't move in this direction. It's really only the burn that's changing. I mean, the head only moves in X and Y, right?
Well, if you change that scan angle to 45 degrees, the head's going to do this. So Y is moving and X is moving. You see what I mean?
Oh,
And
yes. Okay.
engraving isn't made to happen that way. Raster engraving's made to be just 0 or 180 on these gantry
Gotcha.
machines.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So,
So,
so, so other thing that you can do, right, is if you look into actually moving your laser pointer to, for example, right, you move your laser pointer to say your bottom left corner, right,
right.
physically above the design, and then you can
Hmm.
go into your arrange tab, right, and you can look into your move selected objects, right, and you can start to position your design over the actual piece, right. You
Right.
can actually go in and effectively align your design to the bed space, right, without having the camera or without having to do it. So
Okay.
I actually do that a lot. The camera gets it close enough, right? But when I'm cutting down to very accurate tolerances or overlaps, right, I'll do it that way.
Okay. I I got to dig in deeper. I've been so just doing what I do that I haven't really explored so many of the other features that are offered in Lightburn. I'm going to have to figure these out. But align
Yeah.
design and
And
rubber band method are two that I'll have to look into. Hopefully, I can overcome my thing
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yep.
and that's something where I will quite often go jig up something, say a cutting board, for example, right? I'm going to go do 10 cutting boards. They're all the same size. I jig them up. I
Right.
lay out the middle of the cutting board physically. I move the laser over it, and then you can go in and try to manually move your design by hand, or you can just select the design, move selected objects to the center of the laser position. It lines it up where the laser is. So the design goes and lines up to where the physical position of the laser is. And you can
Right.
do
Right.
do a lot in that. And I happened onto that one day, but there's actually a lot of useful stuff in the move selected objects or move the laser to the selection.
Right.
Those are sub
Yeah.
tabs in the arrange.
Another option, this is only if you have the stuff to do it, roller rotary works well in this. And what you do is you basically disconnect the back roller, so you just loosen up the little sprocket gear so it can idle. And then you set your piece of wood on top of it and get your calculation correctly. So basically what it's doing is instead of rotating like a tumbler on top of it, it's actually just rolling your piece of wood slowly forward out your in and out feeds of your laser. So I've done that before too, and it actually works pretty darn well.
Turns it into a conveyor belt effectively.
Yep. So there you go, Jason. There's a new tool for you to make is an oversized roller rotary with a compression roller on the top to hold the piece still.
Yeah.
That's
what they ended up.
Just like a planer.
Yep.
It's been thought about.
Yeah, well, just like the 3D printers that come out doing that, right? They ended up putting the conveyor belt on it, so you print here, and then it just conveys it, rolls it off, and keeps printing like an assembly line.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but they also changed the way the print head angle and
Yeah.
all that stuff, the way it slices and dices. All right, we got a question in the chat. I didn't see a hand up. George, you want to
George?
unmic? Did he leave? Is he here?
He's there.
Oh,
There he is.
Everybody. So I just had a quick question. Has anybody really worked with precious or semi-precious metals like
You can
gold,
send me a
platinum?
sample.
Travis has. I think he's on the phone.
So I've been having quite a few people bring to me over gold jewelry. It seems like in this area, not many people are doing engraving, and if they are, there's a 2 to 4 week window to wait to have something done. So there's a nice gap in this market, and I'm looking to fill a little bit more of it. Just as it's expensive to experiment on precious or semi-precious metals for obvious reasons.
Yeah, the only person in our area is the reason why I want to go that route, because the only person in our area that does that, he's a hand engraver. He does it old school.
All the hand engravers are almost non-existent. A couple of them have passed away because they're that old of a gentleman. Any of the guys are probably old rotary engravers. They're all selling off their businesses.
Did you say fat and old, or just that old?
That old.
Oh, okay. I thought I was calling fat and old. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, here we go again.
That was a good one.
I know. I was just sitting here. I've been behaving. I try not to feel too much. Hello, Danny.
I've got gold coming out okay. It comes out like a dark grayish color. Sometimes I get a white effect out of it. I think that's probably based upon the purity of the metal.
Yeah.
Are you using the UV on that, or are you using the fiber?
I don't have the fiber yet.
Oh, I was like, Trappist, I know, is doing it with the fiber, and you don't have a UV.
I'm only allowed to buy one laser a year, according to the wife.
Well, there's ways to solve that.
I'm thinking the fiber gives more deep engrave and not as much contrast. Like it actually, looks like it eats away
the metal.
Yeah, ablates that area at least better. The UV may be capable of it. I guess you just have to hold your mouth right. I haven't tested the expanses of what UV can do. I'm limited on what I've run on mine so far. Nothing new there.
I have been getting some depth. It's kind of a weird situation to be in, right? Because a lot of customers love the idea of the depth, but you also have to warn them, hey, when I do this, I'm actually removing material. So I'm actually decreasing the value of the piece overall. Are you okay with that? And it's interesting to see all of a sudden their looks go, good point. So if I can get that darker look with marking rather than with doing more of like a deep engrave for depth, more of a deep engrave.
Have you
color.
I have a possibility. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, have you considered, getting the depth with the engrave and then adding like a Ceramark or something to help with the color?
I've never really had good results with any of those spray on or paint on.
Yeah.
My thoughts were to go off of Tommy and Lois's, theory. Just go get you a bar of gold and do a test card.
Yeah.
So
get Tommy
to
steal one
George.
from me. Tommy, go steal a bar from Fort Knox, will you?
George, the settings I sent you, or the library I sent you, that didn't have the gold plated and the sterling silver in it?
No, sir. It's got copper, and the copper works pretty darn well.
Okay. So I've got a couple more pieces here, and I'll test them. But, I mean, sterling silver, I've got white and black. And on the gold,
silver is pretty easy to do.
The gold came out pretty well. So I'll send you those.
That's black, isn't it?
Yeah, it's black.
Looks good.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I'll send you those if I still have more. If I have to do more testing, yeah, I've got a couple more pieces left, so I can do that. And I think I even did a photo one too, but I'll make sure I save it.
Now, what would even be cooler is if you could actually engrave with that and get the wavelength right, that you could actually make it look like rose gold.
I don't know if we can even make that out.
Oh yeah,
That looks good.
that looks great.
There you
So
go. Nice.
I think that was a double pass, so a negative and a positive, or the white setting and the black setting on there. I'll see if I can upload those to the library, and I got to get that UV library up on the site too.
There's another new face.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the
Eric,
name.
E-Money?
What's up, man? Just kind of hanging out, minding my business, listening, learning.
So Eric is one of our new sales guys, and he's learning the ropes pretty well. He's not even new anymore. Other new people have come in, so now you're a veteran now.
Sort of. I haven't hit my one year mark yet, but we're on the way. So.
Wow, 1 year and you're not the first time you've been on here? That's bad.
Yeah, I know. It's been busy, but that's a good thing. So.
Well, Jim, you're the story of you. It's far and reaching, and that's probably why.
All kinds of new people at Thunder.
Actually,
Y'all didn't know Brian was typing an email.
George, I think I actually helped you a little bit.
That's funny.
Yeah, you can tell he's a hunting pecker.
Send him a quieter keyboard.
Hey, yeah, Bill.
I gotta have a mechanical. Yeah, it's got to be one of those mechanical keyboards. I need that tactile feedback because I can't use those little mushy ones. I'd take one of those from 1982 that you could hear down the hallway clacking. I like those.
Good Lord, back in the old typing classes.
He needs a ding at the end of his sentences.
Hey, Brian, what does that machine do? It goes bing.
Yep.
Bing.
That's funny.
Do you guys all remember from typing classes the sores you would get on the insides of your fingers, like where you'd catch the other key when you was first learning?
Here.
The old manuals. Yeah, well, that and like catching the edge of your finger because you'd slide off and underneath the other key. Those are the days. And then you hear that little zip. And every once in a while you'd hear a typewriter malfunction. You hear zip and then bang because the old carriage went onto the floor.
Jim, you're showing your age.
Yeah, or when you drop your abacus and it all breaks apart and rolls around all over the floor.
Oh my God, I forgot about abacuses. Yeah, we actually had 2 classes on abacuses and how to use them.
Back in the Stone Ages.
I think I'm just getting old.
Getting?
We all getting a little older every day.
Yeah, I'm thinking about letting the beard go back to being white again. Yes, I look older.
You color it? I thought that was food. No.
Nope. No, I got that all picked out today, so it wasn't on camera. No, the wife was right around our anniversary. She said she was tired of being married to an old person, and if I was going to continue to let my beard grow like this, she says I had to get it colored. So I had got it colored in around it was July, and then everybody was going, "Holy shit, you look like 30 years younger," and I'm like, Now she can't bitch about my beard being long because I can just keep getting it colored. But let me tell you, that was one of the most horrible experiences I've ever been in my entire freaking life. I don't know why women go get their damn hair colored because that is just absolutely horrible.
Watch out. HR's
easy.
HR's easy. Somebody's feeding back a lot.
That's Jason.
Everybody.
Free rotaries for everybody. Oh, man. Say came straight from the horse's mouth.
Damn,
Awkward silence number 3.
I even just tried to fill it in and it didn't even go nowhere. Wow.
Oh, that's 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
Well, then I'll ask another question. So I'm getting ready to do my first photo on the UV. And when I go to input or select my settings, I guess I have to turn on photo, right, in the layer.
An image is automatically going to come in as an image. You're going to have to select your process. So Jarvis, Stucky,
Right.
halftone.
Yep.
So I do have a question then. I'll just throw one out there since we made it towards Locus, since he's the picture expert. Did I send that to you, Loco, with the tumbler that had the moose and the scenery on it?
Yes, I think so.
How on the is that like on a grayscale, or is that just strictly a power setting to get the different levels of going through the power coding? Because that was shaded.
It'll
That was
create.
shaded amazing.
Maybe you haven't sent that one to me.
Yeah. Hey Jim, you do those with the threshold setting, so it's either on or off. Otherwise, you're not getting through the powder coating enough because you can't have it vary the power to get through the powder coating.
I sent that to you though, didn't I, Travis?
Yeah.
I thought I sent it to you and Loco, but that guy that had that done. That was impressive.
Send it over so I could see it. I like being impressed.
Oh, if I can find. No shit. I need the mouse over here.
Danny, where are you at?
Focus camera.
It's got
Focus.
shading in it, doesn't it? Maybe you did send that to me in Facebook Messenger.
I'm trying. It won't focus.
Chip in and get camera. Travis, a better camera.
I've got the new one sitting right here because my old nice camera died, and I've got the new one sitting here. I just haven't put it in yet. So I don't know how many of you guys follow Alaska weather, but we've had snowmageddon up here. We've had over 48 inches in the last 8 days.
Dang.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, my best friend lives up there, so I've been hearing all about it.
Yep. Oh, and it's raining today. Yay.
So have you tried clearing your sidewalks with a 130-watt CO2 laser with a chiller strapped to your back yet?
I wouldn't need the chiller. I just need the laser part.
No, he just goes out and buys a $3,000 snowblower and tries to break it the first day he uses it.
Okay, so I got a chunk of asphalt stuck in it. We don't need to talk about that, Jim.
There's pepper in my snow.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's going to be 73 here tomorrow, and I'm playing golf. So.
Yeah, we're supposed to be below 0 by Saturday.
I know. I seen that and I started laughing. We're 70 today here, but it's coming. I'm just trying to find that stupid picture, and I cannot find it anywhere. I don't remember where I seen it.
I want to say you did send it to me, but I don't know if you texted it to me or what.
Maybe it was on Insta or Snapchat.
I don't remember where I seen it at now. It's somewhere on Facebook.
Do I need to send you a copy of it back, Jim?
Nah, I've probably got my text messages, but I was just trying to find it, do it the easy way, but oh well, I'll just do it the other way.
You wouldn't have emailed it, right?
No, it'd have been a text or.
What do we have new to talk about? Anything? Not yet.
Is everyone staying busy?
Oh God, yes.
We had a show on Saturday, and we have a show in 2 days.
Yeah, we had to cancel all of our shows.
Just skipped 2 of them.
A little snow shouldn't stop you. Come on.
Well, no, it's not from that. It's just from our normal workload that we have going on.
Wow.
I mean, we're working 8 to 10 hours a day, 6 days a week right now.
You need to step it up, man.
Yeah, I was going to say part-time, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Are y'all to the point where you're running out of daylight?
Oh, yeah, we go to work, and it's dark when we go to work. It's dark when we go home.
I mean, you're only working 8 hours, but... How much daylight do you get in a day, even if you want to work?
I think we're at about 7 hours of daylight a day right now.
Misery.
We'll drop down. Our low point's about 4.5 to 5 hours.
Wow.
Hey, the summer makes up for it though. 24 hours of daylight. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Blackout shades and all that stuff up there.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can go out to the lake at 2 o'clock in the morning.
You sent it?
I sent it to your face messenger.
Got it. Yeah, that's dithered.
Whoever done that, he had done a few of them, but that was the one that I liked the most.
You know, I've been
looks
seeing
cool.
some really
Yeah,
cool
it came out
stuff
good.
pop up.
There's a couple of guys out there that have the slate down pretty good. Mike, mute Mike.
Yeah, Mike's hot rodding around. I hear it.
Hey, Brian, mute Mike. I was trying to do it, and I was like, crap, I organizer, I can't do it.
Oh, speaking of, look at this crowd. Are you going to have an after party?
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and make you organizer, just in case I forget. Now you can mute people.
So you sure you want to do that this early? That's dangerous.
Yeah, right.
Still being recorded.
Yeah.
Jim's finally getting his wish. I'll never be able to talk again.
I don't think there's a permanent mute feature. So.
No, they tried
Danny,
that.
I don't know.
They found out they couldn't.
I didn't hear you before. Where are you from? Where are you located?
You talking to me?
Yep.
Yep, I'm in Canyon City, Colorado, home of the maximum penitentiary prisons, like just 10 miles down the way. Like all of them, all the bad people are like 10, 15 miles away.
So you're not one of the APs, correct?
Correct.
So vacation area.
Yeah. So where is that in relation to like Copper Mountain?
So Copper would be north and west a little bit more. You know, we're right in the foothills. Famous things around here like the Royal Gorge Bridge, the highest suspension bridge, I think, in America. And that's just up the way about 10 miles. Yeah, Copper Mountain is just north, you know, Highway 9, potentially up to like I-70. So quite a ways. We're kind of deserty still here. You know, we're right in the foothills, but like today it's 70 degrees. You know, it's pretty nice. We used to live about 45 miles north of here in the mountains at 9,100 feet. So it was winters were long.
Sorry.
Somebody's typing very hard, making it difficult to hear.
And slow
Aubrey,
as well.
you see what we got to put up with here?
See what?
See what we got to put up with here?
I know, right?
Chris said it was angry type, and it's not. It's focused. It's intentional. It's not
intentional
angry.
Typing. There you go.
It's
with purpose.
It's no wonder why.
Yes.
It's no wonder why he goes to
Determined.
keyboards.
So Danny, that's where we're gonna try to retire out that way, either Utah or Colorado or somewhere out there. We love it out there.
Yeah, it's super nice. I'm a native to Colorado. I lived in Denver for about 37 years. Not Denver, but Arvada, which was suburbs right in the foothills there. And we got out in 13. It was just getting way too crazy, and we're so happy to be where we are. It's small enough town. It's rural, but it's big enough. We have a Home Depot and a Walmart and Big R and Tractor Supply. You're set, you know.
That's sad when America judges themselves that they've got a Home Depot or a Walmart.
That's true.
Yeah.
But do you have a Bojo's there?
No, we do have Bojos like on the I-70 corridor in like Idaho
Right.
Springs.
Yeah, that's
And
where we
there's
go. We stop there every time.
yeah,
What the
yeah.
heck,
Love it.
Bojo?
How about any
Bojangles?
intersection that has 4 Starbucks on each intersection? Heavy
Oh
typing
yeah.
again. Heavy typing again.
Come on, Jim. The hell.
Hold on a minute. I'll fix it. Oh, he fixed it for me.
So the question was, do you have 4 Starbucks on each corner of any intersection in your town?
Oh no, we believe it or not though, I think there's 2 or 3 Starbucks, one in a grocery store, but one main store, but a lot of coffee places. No, but you go to Denver, it's like that, or to Colorado Springs, you might have one on each corner.
So my parents live outside of Colorado Springs in Woodland Park.
Okay. Yeah, we used to live in Guffey, so Woodland was one of our towns to go either to Guffey or where I'm at now, Canyon City. So gas used to be about 40 miles away or groceries. So when you went to town, you made it count.
Yeah.
I just thought of one more question. If you have a job going and you're cutting, and let's say a little piece pops up, you don't want to crash the head. If you simply hit pause, open the lid, clear that little piece, shut the lid, and hit that start pause, will it start right back where it left off? Or okay.
Yes, I do it all the time.
Absolutely.
As long as
Just
you
don't do
are
it.
not with the start button, as long as you haven't done it with the start button, you should be okay. Or on the rotary.
Yeah, don't do it on the rotary.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but the start button, it's okay on the machine itself to use that start button.
Absolutely.
Not, yeah. I initially I was starting all my jobs from the computer, and with Brian in the tech support 1 hour class thing, he's advised not to do it that way, and so I just send it over and then start everything right from the laser. And then if you get more than your 99 or 100 files, will it just start replacing them? Or do you need to?
It may
you
act
can have
weird.
a whole bunch of
Sorry, hold on. Sorry about that. The
Now
compressor.
you got to start deleting.
Clear them out.
So you need to clear them out.
You can do that in
Absolutely.
Good idea.
Okay, and if you don't clear them out, it'll just get to the point where you're not able to send them over?
No, it'll start.
No, it'll
We've seen
actually
some
have
weird
problems.
issues. Yeah.
Well,
It's like trying to fill up a cup and just, if I just let it flow, it should just be good. No, it's just going to overflow with data, and it trickles down to other things. So it's really strange what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And it right
Danny,
in
so if you go into Lightburn, right, if you like right click on your tool tab where you can add the new menu called File List, and you can manage all your files from there.
Okay.
The other
Even
thing,
better
so
is
you can-
going into the Ruida is doing a low level format. So just go in there, and we actually have a video on it on the knowledge base of how to go into the controller and say format erase speedily is I think the exact terminology.
Okay.
now Danny, do you do a lot of files that you plan to run multiple times? Like say you have a batch run every month of the same thing, or are you doing a lot of one-off stuff that you run and you're basically done?
I'm brand new, so we're making a lot of craft stuff. If I'm changing the design, I'll make another file in Lightburn and just save it. This is a small one, this is a large one, and I don't mind sending it over each time. Rarely do I go into the controller and look for that job. I mean, I have, it's helpful, but I'd rather just send it over again each time.
I'm with you on that. So what you can do is just name them the same thing every time and just keep
Yes.
overriding the same file. A
Yes.
lot of people
Override
do that.
Okay.
And that way you won't get to the 99. And then the files that like, okay, this is a hot seller, I'm going to leave that one. give it its own unique name, and then if you wanted to, you could load it at the machine.
Okay. Okay. It's so easy just to send it over
It
from,
is.
I just prefer. And so my wife and I, we just got her a Nova 35 100-watt on Sunday, and it's all the bells and whistles, the nice rotary. I bought the chuck rotary because I'm a wood turner, and I thought, oh man, I could chuck up some of my vases and all that, bowls maybe. I could modify the jaws and do that. But we're getting ready to set up both rotaries, and so I know I'm going to have questions, and also both Thunder Cams. I watched the videos in that, but I just wasn't sure exactly. I have the Nova 51, how those run, and if it's the grommet in the back where you're going to be tucking your wire in. So as I get that, I'll have legitimate questions. But I looked at it and was like, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, we got a new article or an updated article for the ThunderCam install that shows where to run those. You basically run it to the back, but I use the grommet that the X motor wire comes up because it's a lot bigger than the one where the stack light wire comes up.
Okay. Okay.
Feed it down through there, and then you can use that USB extender cable and get that over to your computer.
Okay.
Now, do y'all use the same computer for both machines?
No, we'll both have our own computers.
Okay, that'll work perfect then, because it won't distinguish the cameras very well.
Okay.
Other than the preview images.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I know what I've read is that the camera, even the 120 for the 51 and the 60, it doesn't maybe get the entire full bed. I haven't done the full bed yet, so I can just keep my projects where they need to be. I don't do autofocus, Brian. I know we went through that. I manually do it every time, but I know at the camera you do have to autofocus, and I know how to do that. So I guess I'll just autofocus when we're ready.
You can still manually focus. You can autofocus the material first to get the distance to the camera correct. And then if you need to cut, for instance, you can always drop the nozzle manually. Just don't move the material up and down. Just move the nozzle.
Really, it comes down to the position. So if you're using that collar, as long as you're using that collar to lock your position, you don't even need to autofocus. You just say, all right, I'm going to use my camera. Slide it up to that collar. Now the lens is in the same position that you did the calibration for the camera.
Yeah, you can use
so
that.
As long as that collar is locked based off of the camera calibration, then you don't need the autofocus.
Okay. Because when I was cutting one of my American flags, I forgot to turn on my line layer. And so I had cut another one, and I thought I could get creative, and I wrote down all the coordinates and did a pulse and lined it up within a 0.5 millimeter, putting the speed on 1, and ever so slightly, and it was still off. I got close, but with the camera, I would be able to overlay exactly what I want to do and be like, yep, that's perfect, and cut it out.
In theory, yeah.
In theory, sure. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it depends on the camera, how it's calibrated, the focal distances, all of that stuff comes into play, and there's environmental variables, just, but yeah, that's ideally how it should work.
Cool.
I think Jim's asleep.
He's old. He needs his nap.
Poor Jim.
We pick on Jim. We shouldn't. He's our producer.
I harass him daily. Don't feel bad.
Or an official producer, I guess I should say. So, cool. Hey, we're within 7 minutes. I'd call that a success, especially for not having a topic. So, anybody got anything else? I'll sound the alarm again for anybody that has any news or noteworthy things if you popped in later or anything like that, just incidentally.
Are these meetings every 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Will there be next time? Will there still be one being close to the holiday?
Yeah, because it should be after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think it's after, a little bit after. So.
Okay. Super. Yeah, it's so valuable to be able to pick your brains.
Yeah, Brian, did you just say that the meetings are back to every week now?
No.
I think that's what the guy's question was. I think he asked, "Are the meetings every week?"
Yeah.
And you said
Well,
yes.
I mean, if the money's right, you know, we could work something out.
Well, how
maybe.
much do you want to pay me? I'm okay. How much you want to pay me? I'm willing to have him every week.
Okay. Well, we could let you have one week, and then we'll have ours the next.
That works. I'm fine.
Travis,
Yeah, but you're gonna have to turn on your camera.
No, there's too much ugly on this. There's too much ugly on this end of the camera. You don't want to see this.
Yeah, I would turn mine off for the same reason, but I figure I probably shouldn't.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
happy
typing.
birthday plus 3 weeks or something. Yeah, somebody else is heavy typing again.
Yeah, my birthday's going to be all year long.
He's probably already
Careful
out of all
what
the
you
monsters,
wish for.
I know.
Careful what you wish for.
Ryan, how many monsters did you get for your birthday? And are there any left?
How many monsters?
Energy drinks.
Oh, I didn't get that for my birthday. I get those like regularly through various outlets, including maybe a subscription on Amazon.
I thought somebody sent you some monsters. For your
Oh
birthday.
yeah, y'all did. Oh, those were gone instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad at Monster right now.
And-
they got
and I was-
one of my favorite drinks.
Which one is that?
The Dragon Iced Tea.
Oh, okay.
It is
You like dragons,
freaking
huh? amazing.
Yeah, what are they dragging?
Huh?
Still recorded. Still recorded. Just saying.
All right, I got a
We're
good
still
question.
recording.
Can you set an origin from inside of Lightburn without having to physically reach over and touch the machine?
Nope. That's a machine level setting.
That's what I thought.
Like when Lightburn asked the machine to go to origin, it's basically asking the machine, can you go to wherever you know your origin is? Part of that is the multi-origin setup as well. So a feature that not a lot of people use, but you could set up to 4 different origins. And if you wanted to run the same project, like you had a jig set up and did want to use absolute, it could basically cycle between those 4 origins every time you hit the start button. And so all that tracking and stuff is done by the controller.
Yeah, pretty much the closest I think you can get is by switching the drop down from user origin to current position.
Which is buggy on Thunder's custom firmware sometimes.
Is it?
Yeah.
You could also do absolute coordinates, and then if you have the laser head where you want, you can then tell your artwork to move to the laser position with the relative, like one of the 9 dots or whatever, and it's almost simulating user origin.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing you can do is if you go into the move settings and you can save positions, right? So similar to if you want to set up a jig and you have the same origin point on that, you can say it's my 40 ounce tumbler center start jig, right? and then you'll have a safe position.
I wish I had that much production work.
Either that or you just do what we did and just buy a couple more lasers, have one set up permanently for tumblers. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Easy, Travis.
If it gets to tumblers, I will be buying the what's that little guy? The Bolt.
A Bolt.
Yep.
I did just buy my 5th laser this week, so I'm moving up.
You bought your 5th. Hey, you're equal to me now.
Yeah. I'm running out of space now. Now I'm shuffling woodworking tools out of the shop so I can put more lasers in there.
Oh no! That's just wrong. That is just wrong. You don't put the woodworking tools aside.
I didn't say I was putting them aside. I'm shuffling them out of the shop.
We have separate shops.
I don't.
Give him hell, Tommy. Give him hell.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy, if I actually want to get rid of them, I got some good tools. I've got an 18-inch Powermatic bandsaw I'm probably about to get rid of.
For a good price.
Yeah, good
That's
price.
a long drive.
It is. Yeah.
But you need
Yeah.
a planer.
I tell
planer.
Joiner, yeah.
And jointer. No, you planer. You have a jointer. You need a bigger
Yeah,
planer.
We all
my
need
wife's
bigger planers.
Brian, you want to kill the recording?